You're doing it again, Gordon.
Sorry?
With your fingers on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I'm just a little bit distracted at the moment. These figures are a bit puzzling. I mean, here we have a leisure centre designed to provide recreation for anything up to 2,000 people a day. Do you know how many people we had in over the weekend?
Could you please stop doing that, Gordon?
43.
Gordon!
Oh, I'm sorry, darling, was I? It's just that centre costs nearly £2.75 million. If only 43 people want to use it, someone somewhere is doing something wrong, my darling. If only I could put my finger on what it was.
Shouldn't we be going?
No, I have to go over this with my heads of department, see if we can't thrash something out.
I've just been reading about a woman who murdered her husband for clicking his teeth.
Clicking his teeth?
Yes. Apparently he did it every mealtime for 30 years until one morning at breakfast she dropped a marble pastry board on his head and she casseroled his body in the Alga.
Just for clicking his teeth, eh?
Apparently. You going to be long?
What?
You said I could have the car after you this morning. It's 10 to 9.
Right, well, I think I'm ready. Briefcase, keys, wallet. Let's go, Joe.
Right. Oh, what is it?
Shan't be a minute, just got to clean my shoes. Do you want yours?
What?
Umbrella.
No, thank you.
They did say occasional showers.
I'll risk it.
I'll get it anyway, just in case you change your mind. Strange, isn't it, murdering someone because they click their teeth?
Is it?
Although I was thinking, it's often the little things that really get under your skin, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Still, never mind. Let's go, go, go. These brakes feel a bit spongy. When you use it, darling, press harder on the pedal. Hello, I've heard my wife's been involved in a car accident and I just wondered... Is she? Did she say anything about the car? No, of course, very painful, yeah. Well, if you are, perhaps you could ask her about the car. Well, it's just, it's had a respray recently, I'm a bit worried about it. Right, thanks, bye. I don't know, doctors, no time for anything. Right, where were we?
Your graph, Mr. Brittas.
Right, now, if we're agreed that attendance has been a little disappointing lately, my feeling is we should take steps now before this becomes a trend.
Oh! Sorry, Mr. Brittas, it's the pollen count. Anything above 105, I tend to generate a lot of extra nasal fluid.
You see, if my commitment is to make this centre the hub of the community and see it constantly hustling and bustling with life and activity, how many have we got in today?
7, Mr. Brittas.
7.
4 of those were trapped in a lift from yesterday.
Well, if this is the situation, I think I'm entitled to turn to my heads of department and quite simply say, why?
Well...
I think it's mainly 2 reasons. I think it's partly the fault of the public and partly, I'm afraid to say, the fault of our staff. Biscuit, Laura.
No.
So the first problem is, do the public know we're here?
There's a very big notice outside, Mr. Brittas.
And air signs all the way from the bypass.
I was thinking more of the way we persuade people that they should be coming in to use the facilities, which is why I've come up with this series of special offers.
Oh.
Tissue, Colin?
No, thank you, Mr. Brittas. I've promised myself that I would only use unbleached recycled paper.
I see.
Unfortunately, they've run out this morning and I'm down to my last one.
Anyway,
Which I think is what's been giving me this cold sore.
Anyway, my intention is to display these around the centre, and I simply wondered what you thought of them. All criticism gratefully received.
Well...
Yes, Laura.
Well, I wondered if they weren't, you know, a bit complicated.
Complicated?
Yes.
Not quite with you.
Well, take this one, calling all swimmers, for instance. I mean, it says here that Anyone not in full-time education who uses the pool for more than 3 but less than 5 sessions on a weekday is entitled to a third off the price of any general session at the weekend.
Seems a very tempting offer to me.
Yes, just not quite as snappy as 2 for the price of 1.
We cannot afford to give 2 tickets for the price of 1, Laura. That's my exact point. We're running a business here. God knows if we've only got 7 people in, they all go half price.
Okay, I understand.
Mr. Brittas, I've been thinking, if people aren't coming in to the centre, how are they going to see the notices?
Perhaps you'd like to pour us some more coffee, Colin.
Right, Mr. Brittas.
Now, the flip side of the coin is what happens to customers once they come into the centre and how they're treated by our staff.
I think they do their best.
Possibly. Let's put it another way. Do you know the Health and Fitness Club in Icarus Road?
The place with the purple door?
That's right. I walked past it the other day and it was packed at lunchtime.
Well, yes, but...
Mostly businessmen too, paying £75 an hour with extras.
It's not going to be easy to compete with the extras, Mr. Brittas.
Think positive, Laura. Let's make it our job to find out what those extras are and provide them better and more often.
I just don't think our staff are going to be prepared to...
That's the problem, Laura. What we need is some sort of incentive here to make our staff rather more courteous and thoughtful, which is why I think the public... Thank you very much indeed, Colin. So what I've decided to do is present this. That's right.
The Whitby Newtown Leisure Centre Staff Courtesy Challenge Cup.
That's right. I propose to present it to someone each week and they get to take it home.
And people will want to do that, will they, Mr. Brittas?
It's public recognition, Laura. Of course they will. They can put it on their mantelpieces and when the neighbours come in they can say, that's the courtesy cup I won at work, which is a rather nice thing to be able to say.
Uh-huh.
They can't keep it permanently, of course, but there's nothing to stop them winning it the following week.
It's a bit like your star system, isn't it?
What?
The punctuality trophy?
It's not like the star system at all, Laura. Those stars are awarded for efficient and committed work. And the punctuality trophy isn't even a cup, Colin, it's a shield. This is a cup.
Oh, yes, I see.
Anyway, I want you to give me a name of someone in your department who's been particularly helpful and a rough outline of the reasons in, say, no more than 500 words. At a staff meeting every Monday, I will tell everyone what he, or indeed she, Laura, did and make the award, OK?
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
I think it's a rather neat way of rewarding good work and encouraging others to strive for the same sort of standards, don't you? Are you all right, Laura? It's not awfully good coffee, is it? Mine's got bits floating around in it. Angie!
Your wife's back from hospital. She's waiting in your office.
Oh, that's marvellous news. Right, I'll just finish putting these up and I'll be right down. What is that?
What?
Spangles wrapper. How can we attract people to a centre that's knee-deep in sweet papers?
There's a bit of string there as well.
It gets worse and worse. It really does, Angie. Fancy leaving something like that lying around. Look at it, right across the gangway. It could have killed someone. This is just the kind of thing I'm trying to avoid, Angie. It really is. How can we improve those attendance figures if we send members of the public headlong down stairwells? There you are, my darling. How's the car?
I've had an X-ray. They say it's only a simple break.
Really? That's good news. Just a break, eh? That's very good news.
The car will be ready on Thursday.
Not till Thursday?
Apparently the brakes were completely gone.
That'll teach me to buy British, eh? Looks like I'll be walking home this evening.
They say that the brake fluid pipes are being cut.
Cut?
Deliberately. With a hacksaw.
You mean to say they thought someone was trying to...
Exactly.
But that's ludicrous.
Is it, Gordon?
Of course it is, darling. Who'd want to murder you, eh?
But how can I be pregnant again, Doctor? I only had a baby 6 weeks ago. Yes, well, I thought if I was breastfeeding, I didn't have to use any.
Everything all right from the home front, Carol?
Yes, fine, Mr. Brittas, thank you. Oh, look, can I bring in another specimen?
I still think we should have gone to the tennis club.
But this is perfect. Look, it's brand new and it's half the price.
Yeah, I know. But I think there's a snag.
Morning, gentlemen.
Well, 12 of our courts are free. Which one would you like?
What did I tell you? We'll have this one.
Hi.
Well, I've got a fiver says we never get to play.
What are you talking about? What's gonna stop us?
Excuse me, gentlemen. I couldn't help noticing, in for a game of tennis, are we?
Yes, that's right.
In that case, you might be interested in this.
Calling all sportsmen and women.
It's a deal I've negotiated with Wild Sports Shop. If you present a ticket to say you've used this centre between 10 and 3 within the last 3 days, they'll give you a 7.5% discount on any goods you may purchase there.
Oh, well, that's great. Thanks.
Not at all. It's our job to help. Oh, there is just one thing. The offer only lasts until the end of the week, because the shop is in fact closing down. So, if you do wish to avail yourselves, you have to do so before the end of the week, all right?
Thank you.
We'll have a 2-hour session, please.
Is it the 30th today?
Sorry?
The 30th.
Yes, it is.
I've just remembered they're closing down the precinct to do some repaving from tomorrow, so in fact the offer only stands today.
Fine.
Oh, and today's Thursday, isn't it? Which means it's half-day closing. And it's 11:30 now. If you're not down there in half an hour...
We'll manage, I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, forget about the game. You pop down there now, get yourself a discount, probably a pair of track shoes for you, and probably, I don't know, a new cardigan for you. And we'll keep the ticket until... Oh, no, you want the ticket, won't you?
I think we'll just go and have
I'll tell you what, I'll write on it here. This carol is to allow these gentlemen back at any time for the full duration of their game, all right? So you take these, pop down now, get your discount, and you can still come back this afternoon and play the game. How's that?
Is your name Brittas?
Gordon Brittas, manager. Well, gentlemen, hope you managed to find a few bargains.
Your fiver?
Cancellation up at the club.
Anyway, it's never more than a 3-hour wait.
Hello. Can I speak to Mr. Wilson? It is rather important. Huh? On his honeymoon? No, I didn't know he was getting married. Yes, it is wonderful news, isn't it?
No, I'm sorry. I've tried to persuade him, but he says the whole idea is quite ridiculous.
Oh, well, maybe he's right. Maybe the brake pipes were just an accident.
That's certainly what Mr. Brittas thinks. He rang the garage and asked if it mightn't have been a squirrel.
What did they say?
They said it was possible, but if it was a squirrel with a hacksaw. Is there anyone in your neighbourhood who he's upset recently?
Where do you want me to start, Laura? I mean, I'm his wife. Look how I feel.
The trouble is, I think he had difficulty believing anyone could dislike him, let alone want to...
Exactly. Why would you want to kill someone who's always tried to do the right things for the right reasons?
That's just what he said.
Have you ever seen him on a zebra crossing?
I'm sorry?
He just steps out and starts walking. It's the same principle, you see. He's in the right. Never occurs to him how the driver might feel. Being in the right, that's what matters.
I see.
It'll be the death of him one day. One day the cars won't stop in time and I'll be left cradling him in my arms, mopping the blood from his mouth. And you know what he's going to say as he smiles bravely up at me through the pane? Don't worry, darling, it was my right of way.
I don't believe this man. What does he think he's doing? I mean, what does he think he's doing?
Come on, Tim, it's not that bad. All I have to say is that you did some good deed for somebody and you get a cup, that's all.
No, absolutely not. No.
Look, we all have to take a turn. Damien was got the best turnout tanker twice last month. Linda and Patrick have both been best citizens several times. You've won nothing since the Punctuality Shield.
Hey, Colin, somebody's been messing around with my stars.
What?
Well, I only had 6 this morning, and now look.
No, I can explain that. You got those for rescuing that little girl who swam out of her depth.
No, I only got 1 for that, I remember. Brittas said.
Ah, yes, but it was a green one. They're worth 2 yellows, and the yellows are 5 each. That's 10 red.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
Oh! Look, Gavin, does it really matter?
Matter? Whoever wins this thing has to go out to dinner with Brittas at the Burney Inn. Of course it matters.
I know how you feel.
Well, it's not fair. Some of the others haven't got any stars at all. Look at them. Tony, Tony had 2 stars yesterday. I know he did. He's peeled them off.
No, he lost those for being late.
He always weasels out of it somehow, doesn't he? Well, he's not getting away with it this time. He can have a couple of mine for starters.
Gavin, if Mr. Brittas catches you... Oh!
If I can have your attention, please, everyone. Colin? Now, some of you may have seen these eye-catching notices I've been displaying around the centre, but the more thoughtful ones amongst you will have realised that people have got to come into the centre in the first place to actually read them. So, there's 200 for you, Tim, 200 for Colin.
You want me to deliver all those, Mr. Brittas?
Not all of them, Colin, no. I want you to keep at least one back to put in your own front window. That way, when people walk past, they'll be able to see the headline, calling all sportsmen and women. And they'll think to themselves, ooh, I wonder what that rather intriguing notice is. Then they'll come along and they'll say, oh, it's from the leisure centre. They seem to be offering 4% off any ticket bought midweek before 9 a.m. by anyone with a pension card. I must tell Granny. See the way it works? Right, everyone, if you'd all like to help yourselves, please. Gavin, can I have a word, please?
Mr. Brittas?
Now, what were you doing just now when I came in?
What?
You were doing something at the notice boards.
Oh, nothing, Mr. Brittas.
I think you were, Gavin.
I wasn't doing anything, honest.
It's all right, I know.
I didn't touch it!
You were at this notice board and you thought to yourself, ooh, look at Tony, he's got no stars. And between you and me, presents any chance of ever getting any. And you thought, there's me, Gavin, storming into the lead in this month's competition again. So, you decided to boost his morale with a couple of your own stars, didn't you?
Mr. Brittas,
That is exactly the sort of caring generosity that I'm trying to encourage, Gavin. I'll tell you what we'll do.
What?
We'll let Tony keep those 2 stars, but at no cost to yourself.
What?
In fact, I'm going to give you 2 more. Just to show that selflessness doesn't always go unrewarded.
Oh.
Well done, Gavin, everyone. Well done, Gavin. Now, I must be off to my game of squash. Can anyone lend me a comb?
Here we are, Mr. Brittas.
Thank you, Colin.
You don't get dandruff, do you, Mr. Brittas?
Never mind, Colin. Never had it in my life.
I used to get it really badly, you know, but then it turned into seborrhea, which is where great flaky chunks drop out.
Thank you, Colin.
Right, Mr. Brittas. Do you need me to get changed for the game then, Mr. Brittas?
As it happens, I've been challenged by an anonymous member of the public. To the death, the note said. Should be interesting.
Larry, what are you doing here?
Gavin, there's something I want you to do for me.
Oh, yes?
I want you to tell Mr. Brittas there's somebody up on the roof contemplating suicide.
There's someone on the roof?
Not yet, but there soon will be.
Well, for God's sake, don't tell Brittas. He'll want to help.
I know.
But he'll try and talk them down. 5 minutes of that and they won't be contemplating suicide, they'll have jumped. Well, who is it anyway?
It's me.
You're going to jump? Larry, why?
The choir at St. Mary's took 20 years to build up, you know.
What?
We used to travel around the country, win prizes. Then Brittas came along, calling everybody by their Christian name, helping them, giving them all encouragement. We only had 3 people at choir practice last night. So I decided he has to die.
What?
It seemed the only sensible thing.
You're going to kill Brittas?
Not for myself, you understand. For the sake of the parish.
Larry, I don't know what to say. Well, we all feel a bit like that sometimes, but don't you think you need a little help?
That's why I came to you.
No, that's not quite what I meant.
Look, Gavin, just get him up on the roof, and I'll do the rest.
Larry! Oh, God. Tim? I've just seen Larry Whittaker. He says he's going to kill Brittas.
I've always liked Larry.
Oh, Tim.
Does he need any help?
I'm being serious. He's asked me to lure Brittas up onto the roof so that he can murder him.
How?
Well, I don't know. I suppose he's going to throw him off or something.
Well, have you warned him?
Who?
Brittas.
No, not yet. Do you think I should?
Well, you have to, don't you?
Yes. Yes, of course.
I'll go with you. Well, come on.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure you're right.
Come in.
Mr. Brittas, could we have a word, please?
Oh, Tim, Gavin, just the people I wanted to see. Tim, could you fly down to the squash courts for me, please?
Sorry.
I think I left my racket in squash court number 3.
And you want me to run all the way down there and fetch it now?
If you wouldn't mind, Tim, yes.
Mr. Brittas, I've just been
If you
talking
don't mind
to...
me hopping in first, Gavin, while young Tim is away...
What?
I have a confession to make. My racket is actually perfectly safe here in my cupboard.
Mr. Brittas, I really
I just want a
to...
discreet word about Tim. Take a seat, Gavin.
Well, what about Tim?
Now, you're a good friend of Tim, aren't you? You work well together.
Yes?
Well, I'm just getting slightly concerned that he might be somewhat, you know...
Somewhat what?
I'm just getting a little bit worried lately that he might be a bit of a left-footer.
You think he's a homosexual?
Good heavens, I wouldn't put it as strongly as that.
Then what do you mean?
I'm a broad-minded sort of bloke, Gavin, I think you know that. But Joe Public can get very, very anxious about that sort of thing. All I want you to do is just keep an eye out, if you get my drift.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Just keep an eye out, particularly in the changing rooms and the showers. And tell me if anything. All in complete confidence, of course. We don't want Tiny Tim to know about it, do we? But, on the other hand, we don't want some member of the public to...
It's not there. Linda said you took it with you.
Oh, well, thanks for trying, Tim.
She said it's in your cupboard.
Is it? Oh, that's good. Silly me, eh? Well, Gavin, I'll bear in mind what you had to say about the vending machine. What? Now, I gather you two had something to tell me.
Mr. Brittas.
Angie.
There's a man on the roof about to commit suicide.
What?
He's telling me he's going to jump in about 5 minutes.
All right, Angie, all right. You better get Laura to close off the area and also get Colin to lay out some gym mats just in case. I'll see if I can't talk him down.
Aren't you going to call the police?
Don't worry, Angie, I'm a trained Samaritan. I presume whatever it was can wait, lads.
Well, it wasn't...
Yes, that's fine.
What?
Are you sure?
It can wait, Mr. Brittas.
Right, onwards and upwards. Hello? Oh, there you are, Larry.
It's no good. You can't stop me.
No? No, of course, I'm not here to stop you doing anything. I just thought I'd take some fresh air. Is that all right?
Yes, I suppose so.
I come up here quite often myself to, you know, think things over. Mind if I join you?
Oh, not at all. Why don't you, come and sit there?
Let's put a few cards on the table, shall we, Larry? You've heard, haven't you?
What?
I'm not normally a quitter. I think you know that. But if you'll just hear me out, you'll know why exactly I have to resign.
What?
From the choir.
You're going to resign?
It's just a question of priorities. You see, this place needs my full energies. This is my parish. This is where my ministry must spread from.
You're leaving the choir?
You see, I have a dream.
When?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just finished writing my letter of resignation when I heard the news you were up here.
You put it in writing?
God knows I don't like letting people down, Larry, but...
Can I see it?
But I just didn't know how much this meant to you. Otherwise, I'd have tried to talk things through with you.
The letter, can I see it?
Are you sure you can take this?
Oh, quite sure.
Well, as it happens, I've got it in my anorak here. Well, it must be on the other side. Could you move up a bit, please, Larry?
Oh, yes, of course.
Are you okay, Larry? Look, all right, I'll tear it up. I'm tearing it up now. Larry!
Mrs. Brittas.
Hello, Laura. What are you doing here?
A few of us from the late shift decided to club together and get in some flowers.
Oh, how sweet of you. Thank you.
We wanted to do something. Does, anyone have any idea why he jumped?
Oh, I thought there must be some mistake. He's in the next door bed that way.
This isn't the man who jumped off the roof.
I'm afraid not. This is Gordon.
Mr. Brittas.
Didn't you hear? It was when he was walking home this evening, got run over by a treacle lorry.
That was him. Well, I saw a bit about it on the news, but of course I didn't recognise him under all that treacle and everything. What happened?
He got run over on a zebra crossing. The driver's in the next door bed that way, and the old ladies from the bus stop are in the 2 rooms after that. It's quite an achievement, really.
I'm sorry?
Well, filling an entire hospital intensive care unit single-handed is a good score, even for Gordon.
They do say he'll be all right, don't they?
I've been sitting here wondering about that, and I couldn't help thinking if perhaps it might be easier for everyone if he wasn't. Well, if he didn't recover, if he just slipped quietly away.
Oh, I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, you can't say anyone deserves to die.
Oh, I didn't say he deserved it. I was just being practical.
I see. Well, I'd miss him.
It's all right, Laura. You don't have to cheer me up.
No, I didn't say it to cheer you up, honestly. I mean, the thing about your husband, Mrs. Brittas, I know he's annoying. Very annoying. He annoys me a lot of the time. But what I always end up remembering is that there's never any malice. He doesn't hate anybody. He cares about the centre and all the people in it. He wants more than anything to help. He really does have a dream. And even though things never quite work out the way he wanted, the fact that he tries, that he keeps on trying, well, I think that's worth something.
Do you?
I do, actually.
Yes. Yes, you're probably right.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Gordon.
You know, it was my right of way.